What is up, homies? Let us delve into this inscribing square question. It's actually going to be very similar if you watch part three, like the third video I posted. Then it's going to be very similar, but again, the thinking is really what the target is. Again, this might come repetitive at some point. Like certainly, like if you're thinking, Mr. Collins, I got this. Awesome, fantastic, you got this. Do well. But this hopefully can shore up your thinking. So don't keep in mind that there are good ways and bad ways to use this video. Blindly copying is not the good way. Certainly, you want to use it as a check to help you out. All right. So let's get into it. So I want to inscribe a square, which means I need to put a square so all the vertices are touching the circumference and that they're evenly spaced around. Um, so the first step here, since I need to find two equally spaced points, I'm going to use the fact that I can make a collinear right through the square using a straight edge. So I line my straight edge up with my center point and draw straight through, forming 2 points that are equally spaced because they're on the diameter, straight across. And so like the reasoning behind that is that 4 points will form a square if they're as long as they're equally spaced around the circumference. But I don't have to do that like in order. I can jump around. So I can simply use a ruler, go through the center, and find 4 equally spaced points. So what am I doing in this step? And this step is kind of a combined step. I'm doing more than one thing here. So we have to kind of diagnose this diagram a bit. And if I'm looking, I definitely set my compass to some length. And I have 2 arcs top and bottom, but also looks like I might have had another set coming from the other side. So what I'm actually doing here in a combined step is uh, finding perpendicular bisector. Okay, so perpendicular bisector of the diameter is what I am actually doing. Now the question of why I'm doing it becomes interesting, and the question why is simply because if I think about a square, and I'm going to kind of sketch one in, if I can form a line that goes through the middle, I get my 2 points like I did before that form my square, but I can be sure it's a square for 2 reasons. One, that's going to be a 90-degree angle if it's perpendicular, and two, if it's a bisector, well, that means they're all radii. And if I have all 4 of these distances the same and the center is a 90-degree angle, then boom, Bob's your uncle, I got my square. So the reason why I need a perpendicular bisector has everything to do with this concept. So I'm going to try to verbalize, I just kind of talk through it. So, but if I want to put it into words, basically, if I find the perpendicular bisector, will ensure the other 2 points are equally spaced. Okay? And that's really what we said we wanted at the beginning. 4 equally spaced points. Finding the perpendicular bisector will do that. Now, if you're not convinced that's actually the case, think about the alternative. If I were to draw a line here so that this is not perpendicular, I would argue then these 2 points are too close and these 2 points are far away. If I want this to be in the middle of the line, that means I have to cut the line precisely in half. And cutting the line precisely in half means I have to take that 180-degree line and make it a 90-degree angle. So again, perpendicular bisector will actually ensure it. So perpendicular is actually enough, but it has to go through the center, making it perpendicular bisector. All right. All right. So it looks like in this step, I'm simply forming the perpendicular bisector. So use straight edge, form diameter 2. Okay. So the purpose of this is to actually define my last 2 points. Like I said, I needed 4. Now I know where all 4 are. Or 1, 2, 3, 4. So it looks like in this step I'm connecting all 4 points using a straight edge. So use straight edge, connect all points. And the purpose of doing that is to define the square. Okay, so in this last step, looks like the only difference is again I'm marking. So I'm marking important info. And the purpose of that is to let the reader know my intent. Okay, so again, the reasons why are every bit as important as me actually being able to do it. Um, the in my handwriting, man, that's terrible. The steps, the steps are kind of very straightforward. This reason why stuff is really where the thinking has to take place. Again, you never want to do something unless you have an explicit purpose for doing it. Planning ahead is a key to getting ahead in geometry. So thank you guys for watching this. Again, please don't hesitate to ask questions or access other resources. Remember, this is your test, your grade. Be selfish. Get the help you need, all right? I will see you guys later.